Today, my guest on Hayes' hard drive is an up and coming soul singer from Missouri. His style is reminiscent of artists like Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, and Sam Cooke. Welcome to the show, Mr. Brian Owens. Brian, what a pleasure it is to have you on the show.
Hey, what's up, man? How you
Man,
doing? I'm
man, I'm great.
glad to be on.
I'm great. Now, we were talking just a minute ago. You just got off the phone with Dad, and
Yeah.
I mentioned that you grew up in the St. Louis, Ferguson, Missouri area, and your dad was a preacher or is a preacher. What's that like? What's that like growing up the true son of a preacher man?
I mean, like every other preacher's kid, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things that they say about us are typically true. You know, um, you know what I'm saying? Like preachers' kids are the worst ones. Like to an extent, you know. But it was good. You know, and it's been good. You know, it gave me and continues to give me a foundation and a viewpoint to look at life through. You know, the love and the sacrifice of Christ for me, and um, to always push for kingdom excellence. You know, all these, the common, in Christianity, they're common cliches, but I think that they're so true, especially for me. And then, being able to still have my dad around and like we were basically on a phone conversation because I was listening to like First Peter, like Second Peter chapter 3. Like I listened to the Bible a lot, and like I had a thought, so I just picked up the phone while I was driving. I'm like, yo, hey man, I was reading this and this thought hit me, and so we had a 40 minute conversation about it. So
Good for you. Good for
um,
you.
it's just really cool, to be able to like have a dad who's also like genuinely my brother in Christ and a good friend, where I can bounce things off of him, and have real conversation from somebody who's older than me who has wisdom. Because I think that's the other thing too, is that a lot of times people around our age and younger, like we don't always have, those people in our lives who are older, who are more experienced. Um, so it's a great vibe and feeling to like to still be able to have that in my life.
When did you realize that you wanted to make music your profession? Do you remember when you actually, that I mean, I know we all have the dreams, as kids growing up, but when did you realize like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do?
Um, I think everybody in my family sings and does music in some way, but it was like really when I was in high school, um, that it kind of like hit me that like maybe this is something that I could do for a living. Um, Up until like my junior year of high school, I was all about basketball. That was my thing. Um, Once I realized I could gig and make more money performing than I could working at Steak and Shake, it was a done deal.
I mean, I like Steak and Shake.
Uh,
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I love some Steak and Shake.
I do too. I do too, man. But once I figured out that, like, no, man, I can actually sing, do something that I'm good at, um, and you know, develop that. I went that direction. So, and here we are, all these years later. I mean, the crazy thing though is that I'm doing it in a way that I never thought I'd do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was gonna take the typical route of, I'm gonna tour and I'm gonna grind and I'm gonna do all that kind of stuff. I mean, I had no idea of like developing other artists or, having a a construct that would include a nonprofit organization as a platform for the work for work in the art. Like, so all these things that God, has me doing that are so different than what I imagined them to be. But you know, but I'm enjoying it more. I think than I would have had I stayed on that traditional path of what it would have looked like for me to have a career.
Right.
You
You,
know,
you know,
and
you
and, and, the, and my formative years were really key in me having an open mind to those different kinds of constructs too.
you know, I know the album Soul of Ferguson. You had the opportunity to work with Michael McDonald, and
Yeah.
you know, what a recognizable voice. I mean, you hear one word, you know that it's him. Is there anything that really sticks out to you that you picked up, that you learned by working with him? Because you seem like a very intuitive person, that you're there and you're excited about working with someone, but you're like, I'm going to take
Yeah.
this as a learning opportunity as well.
I mean, two things that I've learned from Mike. One is musical, one's not. I'll go with the musical one first. It's just like how to be consistent over a long period of time. Like Mike has a grind, you know what I'm saying? And he's still on it. So still developing his voice, still developing his piano playing, his songwriting. Like he's still pushing after all these years to do that. Because at his heart, I mean, he's a musician and a songwriter. You know what I'm saying? So he works on that craft. But the other thing is he's extremely giving and generous with his time, with his talent. And so, to me, that's almost even more important than, the musical stuff. It's his willingness to reach out and help, a younger artist from the city where he's from. And hopefully that's what we end up translating to the younger artists that we work with now. Is almost like you have a responsibility to do that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
To work with, train, develop, and walk with the next generation. So that's been the funnest thing, and we just did a concert with him in September, where he came back home to Ferguson, and we did this big concert together. And I mean, it's powerful, not just because of who he is as a musician, but who he is as a person. And yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun getting to know him and work with him in different capacities. I'm also developing a relationship now with David Sanborn, who's the same way, man. Same way. Super giving, man. Incredible musician, but super giving.
I think, to me, like, just hearing you talk about that, and, also hearing other musicians say the same type of thing, it makes me think about, the people who really love the music. You love the music, so when you love the music, you pass that love on to other people. So you're more giving of your time because you want people to love it just as much as you do. And you can't help but tell people about something that you love. So you don't want to hold that in and not tell anybody about it. And I can tell that, obviously Michael and you as well, you guys share your time, instead of, oh no, we can't do that, or no, I'm not going to do that. And that's, I think also too, as a listener and as a fan of your music, it just makes us like you even more when you're that giving of your time and stuff. So I'm really glad to hear that, that's something that you picked up, because it's invaluable, So
Yeah.
2017, I would be remiss to not mention the release of the album Soul of Cash, and I'm just in awe of basically taking songs that most all of us are familiar with, but when I listen to that album, I'm not familiar with any of the songs that are on that album, and I know the words, but I'm not familiar with the way that you have done them. What inspired you to record these iconic Johnny Cash tunes, but with your own soulful twist?
Well, it was kind of an accident. I was doing a series of concerts, and Johnny Cash happened to be one of them. And when I did that show, in one of the songs that I did, and I think it was like Walk the Line, I sang it in, like his voice and my voice. Right? I sing one part like him, and I sing the other part like me. And someone was like, yo, that's kind of dope. You should do a whole album like that. So until that time, I hadn't really thought about doing a full album. Well, I went down to Kentucky, had some friends down there, played around with the idea, and it really was like, oh, yeah, we could really do this. And so then, like, I think maybe like 2 years later, I ended up doing Soul of Cash, like the album as it is now. And it was a really, really fun process. From the challenge of figuring out arrangement, and really trying to not mess up the tunes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
want I didn't want it to be a thing where like I recorded stuff and people would listen to it and go, what is that?
He just destroyed the song. Oh, it's
Yeah, you
awful.
just destroyed it. So as a rule of thumb, the only thing we really did to the arrangements was I sang everything an octave up.
Okay.
So that gave it a different timbre.
Well, if you don't mind, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more from Brian Owens off the Soul of Cash album. It's Ring of Fire, and you're listening to Hayes' Hard Drive.
Love is a burning thing. It makes a fire in me. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down and the flames went higher and it burns. Ring of fire. Oh, your ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet. When hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, oh, and the fire went wild. Yeah, yeah. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down and the flames went higher and it burns. Ring of fire. Oh, the ring of fire. Oh,
We are back with Brian Owens here on Hayes' Hard Drive. And Brian, up at the top of the show, we were talking about your dad and the relationship that you guys had. And you recently covered Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come, and your dad joins you on this recording. Now,
Yeah.
I know that you enjoyed that, but my question is, did you ever imagine that it would have received over 100 million views and garnered this type of success when you guys did it?
Oh, of course not. Like, I mean, we just recorded it. Actually, it was for another nonprofit that we were trying to raise money for, and the video was just a way to like get people to download the song.
And I mean, people that I know, I play them some of the stuff that recently put out, some of the Marvin Gaye stuff, Soul of Ferguson, the Soul of Cash. I mean, like all of that stuff that you've had out, and I mention your name, and they're like, man, that's really good. I was like, well, have you seen this video? Like, oh yeah, that's great, that's wonderful. I was like, it's the same guy. So it is. I mean, it's really stuck, and people, they really enjoy it. And I think it just adds such a dynamic because it's you and your dad, and the video, as we talked about off air, man, it just pulls at the heartstrings because you smile, you think about your relationship with your dad, and man, what a great thing. And wow, your dad's got some pipes too, man. He can really bring it.
Oh, dude, he can sing. He can really sing. When we did that, he had a sinus infection too.
Wow.
Yeah, he can go, man. Like for 72, we have another song coming out next year on my Love Came Down album that we recorded together, a duet. And he could, kill him, man. He still got it. And real talk, like even outside of that, man, even if the video was just for me and my family to have, just to remember, like, it's really cool, man.
You'll have that. You'll have that forever.
The one thing I've done that has gone viral is not all me, and I think that's great.
It's so cool. And you were talking a little bit earlier in the interview about some of your work off of the stage. And you're a tremendous advocate in your community, and you're the executive director of Life Arts Incorporated. And life, leadership, innovation, faith, and entrepreneurship. And this is in the Ferguson and St. Louis metropolitan area. Tell me a little bit about the organization and what you guys do in the community there.
So, our mission statement basically revolves around the idea of developing leaders where they live using the arts. And that's just shorthand for, we want to make sure that the young creatives in our community have a place and a people that can help them develop their skill sets holistically and have the creative and industry infrastructure in their community to use those skill sets in the service of their community. And we use a faith-based model. I believe in, lifting up the name of Jesus and building out his kingdom. And I think that media is a great way to encourage people and give them stories of hope, which we don't so desperately need. And our organization just wants to facilitate that. We're actually going through another kind of renovation as an organization where, we're really honing in more on what that mission is. It's three things that we really do: music, media, and mission. That's what we do as an organization.
I think when you were talking about using a faith-based model, what a great model also too, because of the character building that using Christianity and a faith-based model, it gives them character support that they're not receiving inside of a school system. They're not maybe because of home situations or what it might be. They're not receiving that anywhere else, and now they're coming into this. They're learning more about musicianship and doing that, but not only that, they're learning how to be a better man or a better woman, and that is Invaluable. That trumps the music.
Yeah, and it's basically we're building culture in a community, um, and inviting the community itself to be a part of that. So we have this exchange of ideas across generation, across race, across socioeconomic background. Um, Really, it's not like when we say, we do music, media, and mission. I mean, we're spanning, everything that we do is functional, right? So like, you're not just, our students won't just learn how to create music. A lot of them may want to learn how to code so they can do websites. A lot of them may want to learn how to use, Logic so they can record. And when we build out our curriculum, everybody's going to learn everything, especially, in middle school, because those are all skill sets that can be used in the pursuit of monetizing your creativity.
So
so for us, I mean, I'm excited about, building out these mechanisms and this, what we call a sustainable creative ecosystem, where everything that a student needs to thrive is right there, and then we can implement to the main way that we do this is through experiential learning. So it's through projects, right?
Right.
We've done projects with the St. Louis Cardinals, the St. Louis Symphony. We're getting ready to start a project with a company I call American Portfolios out of New York, Long Island area. So, it's a really interesting model. It's a fun model that allows us to be creative on a high level, create content that can be consumed by anybody, but it's in the service of partners. And so our students are learning a lot of different things, man, when it comes to developing their skill set as a faith-based creative. It's pretty cool to watch and be a part of.
Not only are you doing this, additionally, you serve as the community music artist in residence with the E. Desmond Lee Fine Arts Collaborative at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Tell me, like what
alma mater.
Yeah, what is now in the another academic type of role? What does this entail?
Man, okay, this is basically what I do. This is what I do in life and everything else. I put nouns together. And this is what I mean. People, places, and things. I put them together. That's really all I do. Like, I match up people with the right places, and places with the right people, and people with the right things, and allocate things to the right places. I mean, that's basically what I feel like God wants me to do. And in doing that, creating space and opportunity for students, for partners, for collaboration, for more in-depth experiences and, creative development. So I'm kind of like God's kind of like allowing me to be that guy, and not that guy in the sense of like I'm the man. It's like I'm the conduit. So I don't get to take credit. I just get to point and say, oh, let me connect you with this person over here, or you need this resource. And that's basically what I do.
Well, it sounds like the more that you do and the more that you give of yourself, the more that you are getting in terms of not only in terms of, being fulfilled, soulfully, but, the more success that you are having, the more that you've done and the more that you've collaborated and given of yourself, all of a sudden you have 100 million views on a video that you and your dad recorded for an organization. I just think that's really, really awesome. God's work in your life and how you're seeing all the fruits of your labor. Brian, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with you and more importantly, all the work that you do in the community as well as your wonderful gift of music with all of us. You can find out more about Brian by going to brianowenssoul.com. And this next song that we're going to play has over 100 million views. And Brian is joined by his father, Thomas. It is Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. I'm Delane Hayes, and you are listening to Hayes' Hard Drive.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. Then I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me please. But he wind up knocking me back down on the knee. Oh, there've been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able, Father, to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. Said I know that a change is gonna come one day. I know a change